بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله قال المؤلف رحمه الله, said the author, may Allah have mercy upon him, خلق السماوات والأرض, the creation of heavens and earth. That's less than all of the universe. Like we said, all of the universe includes paradise and hell, and paradise and hell are outside of heavens and earth. خلق الله تعالى بقدرته سبع سماوات سبع أراضي. Allah Ta'ala created by his power 7 skies or 7 heavens or 7 firmaments, 7 solid objects, and 7 earths like this earth. قال الله تعالى, يعني we're not talking about what they say today about the planets of the solar system or something like that. Rather, we're saying this earth, and below it there's another one. Below. And below that there's another one. Below that there's another one, and there's 7 of them. And between this earth, which is the highest earth, and the sky above us, which is the lowest sky, is anything that the scientists see or even claim to see. Stars, whatever they say, galaxies and Milky Ways and cosmos and whatever else they say. All of that's between this earth and that sky. قال الله تعالى, said Allah, exalted is He, الله الذي خلق سبع سماوات ومن الأرض مثلهن. Surah Al-Talaq. Allah is He who created 7 skies, and of the earth, yani of a type of creation called Ard, He created 7 like those. Like those heavens in number, He created 7 earths. That's Surah Al-Talaq. فَيَجِبُ الْإِيمَانُ بِذَلِكَ, and so it is obligatory to believe in that. As for what the kuffar say, these so-called temporary scientists, they don't even confirm the sky above us. فَأَرْضُنَا هَذِهِ وَاحِدَةٌ مِنَ الْأَرَاضِ سَبْعٍ. So this earth of ours is 1 out of 7 earths. الَّتِي خَلَقَهَا اللَّهُ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى. 7 earths that Allah Ta'ala created, وَأَبْدَعَهَا, and brought forth from without any previous example. Here, the alif is written after the meme. So what I learned in Imla is that that's wrong. That the meme should be directly connected to the wow. That the word samawat is amongst those words in which the pronounced alif should not be written. Among those words is Allah. And amongst those words is Ar-Rahman, and amongst those words is Al-Ilah, and amongst those words is Hadha. Connect the hat right to the thal. Right here, this is correct. Samawat, connect the meme to the wow directly. But some people told me that some of the sheikhs said that it's not wrong. Well, that's what I learned, that it is wrong, so I'm just going to say what I learned. وَالسَّمَاوَاتُ الَّتِي خَلَقَهَا اللَّهُ عَظِيمَةُ الْخِلْقَةِ. And the heavens that Allah created are enormous. Also, this is correct here. The meme connects directly to the wow. You only pronounce the alif. You could write that little floating one there if you want to. السماوات تدل على عظمة قدرة البارئ عز وجل. Those enormous bodies prove the greatness of the power of the originator, invincible and great. فسمك السماء الواحدة مسافة 500 عام. The thickness of one sky or heaven or firmament is a 500-year distance. وكلها مشحونة بالملائكة. And all of them are crowded with angels. الذين يعبدون الله ويقدسونه. Those who worship Allah and they say statements of glorification. وَلَا يَفْتَرُونَ عَنْ ذِكْرِهِ, and they never get exhausted from mentioning him. Even we humans, we might get exhausted from mentioning Allah. If you want a dhikr, sometimes you might seek a dhikr that's easy to say so that you can not get tired. Like Allah, just the name Allah, is rewardable to say it. وقد ورد أن المسافة التي ما بين سماء وسماء مسافة 500 عام. And it was reported that the distance between one sky and the next is a distance of 500 years. So that means they are 500 years thick, one of those skies, and the distance between them is also 500 years. And what's between one sky and the next is called faragh. That means void, or it means space. And what's between this earth and the sky above us is also faragh, space. That means void, emptiness. It doesn't mean space with the meaning of what they say in science fiction. It means space in the literal sense of being void and emptiness, not filled up by a volume. وَكَذَلِكَ الْمَسَافَةُ مَا بَيْنَ أَرْضٍ وَأَرْضٍ, and likewise the distance between one earth and the next, it's 500 years. فَالسَّمَاوَاتُ السَّبْعُ مُتَرَاكِبَةٌ بَعْضُهَا فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ, and so the seven heavens are stacked, one above the other. وَكُلُّ وَاحِدَةٍ مُنْفَصِلَةٌ عَنِ الْأُخْرَى, and each one of them is separated from the other. وَكَذَلِكَ الْأَرَاضِ السَّبْعِ, and likewise the seven earths, they are separated by space. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن ألم تروا كيف خلق الله سبع سماوات طباقا. This is citing what Noah said to his people. Don't you see how Allah created seven heavens stacked? But I don't know how he asked them that when they don't see it. So that's a question of mine. All we see is the first one, how they know there's more. But the people at the time of Noah, they did still believe in Adam, even though they were kuffar. They did still believe in Adam and Eve. So maybe they still had some things they believed in. So maybe he was saying something to them that they did agree to, but I need to learn about that. وَجَعَلَ الْقَمَرَ فِيهِنَّ نُورًا وَجَعَلَ الشَّمْسَ سِرَاجًا, and he made the moon in them a light, and he made the sun a lantern, meaning he put the moon in the space between the highest earth and the lowest sky, and he made this moon lit, illuminated. That means has its own light. Unlike what the kuffar say, they say, no, the moon only reflects the light of the sun. So you have to be careful before you believe what the kuffar say. Don't believe something because the kuffar said it. Yani, don't believe something that the kuffar say just because they claim it's science. Then when you say different from what the kuffar say, some ignorance is going to say to you, oh, you didn't go to school. If you said to him something, he can't even prove what he believes and what he scolds you for denying. And he made the sun a lantern, meaning even more brilliant than the moon. Many times more brilliant than the moon. That's in Surah Nuh. وَقَالَ سُبْحَانَهُ, and also the glorified one said, وَبَنَيْنَا فَوْقَكُمْ سَبْعًا شِدَادًا. It means, and we built over you a sturdy seven. We created over you humans on earth, a sturdy, a strong seven, meaning seven skies. So here also, this document here is going back and forth between writing samawat with an alif between the meme and the waw and not doing so. This one's right, this one's wrong. This one's right, this one's right, this one's wrong. Then came back. This one's right. أي أن السماوات السبع شديدة عظيمة الخلقة, meaning that the seven heavens are enormous باتساعها وارتفاعها وإحكامها وإتقانها. In their expansiveness, they are very wide and high and perfectly constructed. Yani they don't have any imperfections in them. They are perfectly flat. That's what's correct. Not like a dome. Rather, they are flat. Allah says, رَفَعَ سَمْكَهَا فَسَوَّاهَا. He straightened them. He leveled them. Those heavens are flat, not like a dome. And they don't have any bumps, dimples, pimples, no dips, no imperfections in them. They are flat and perfectly level. وقد جاء في القرآن أن خلق السماوات والأراضي السبع كان في 6 أيام. And it came in the Quran that the creation of heavens and earth, the creation of the heavens and the 7 earths took 6 days. وكل يوم من هذه الأيام الستة كألف سنة مما نعد. And each one of these 6 days is like 1,000 years of our count. أي بتقدير أيامنا هذه. Meaning, how we count days, these days of ours that we experience, 24-hour cycles. So we have these days that are 24-hour cycles, and then a week is 7 days, and then a month is 4 weeks, and then a year is 12 months. So one of those 6 days was 1,000 years of how we count. لِقَوْلِهِ تَعَالَى, because Allah said, وَإِنَّ يَوْمًا عِندَ رَبِّكَ كَأَلْفِ سَنَةٍ مِّمَّا تَعُدُّونَ. Indeed, one day to your Lord is like 1,000 years of what you count. And some people have some interpretation of this ayah different from what we're saying right now. To some people, this means according to them, we don't experience time like Allah experiences time, so Allah doesn't experience time. They say, to us, a day to our Lord is like 1,000 years to us. So that's some comprehension they have of this ayah. What we learned of the tafsir of this ayah is what we're saying now. This ayah goes with this story of creation and of heavens and earth. وَقَوْلِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى, and also because Allah said, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا فِي 6 أَيَّامٍ وَمَا مَسَّنَا مِن لُغُوبٍ. We swear we have created the heavens and earth and what is between them in 6 days, and we were not touched by exhaustion. Okay, so see how it's spelled there. The heavens and earth. So you usually see, more frequently than seeing al-aradi, this plural word, aradi, earths. As-samawat wal-aradi, more frequently than seeing this phrase is this. As-samawatu wal-ard, the heavens and earth with a singular form. What does that mean? What about the other 6? So what's meant by this singular form is all the 7 earths as one type of thing. So as-samawat, what's meant by, when you say as-samawat in plural, wal-ard and the ard in singular, what's meant by as-samawat, this singular here, is the upper world. The upper world. So then that's going to include the upper world. They'll just say it's the upper world. And when you say al-ard, this singular word here in this way means all 7 earths as a type of thing. Each one of them is called ard, earth. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا فِي 6 أَيَّامٍ. And we swear, we swear that we have created the heavens and earth and what is between them in 6 days. So This refers to the upper world and the lower world. And this does not include paradise or hell. So don't say the universe was created in 6 days. Say heavens and earth were created in 6 days. Because universe is broader than heavens and earth. Heavens and earth is more specific than universe. وَمَا مَسَّنَا مِن لُغُوبٍ. And then the way I translated this is, and we were not touched by exhaustion. Now, some people might say, don't say it that way because Allah has not touched. So that's true, Allah has not touched. But that's what we're saying, isn't it? Saying we're not touched. Not touched. So sometimes, somehow, when you say Allah is not such and such, some people understand that means you're saying he is that such and such. Somehow. We were not touched by exhaustion. So this, for them, some people make them understand that it means Allah is touchable. And then they're going to say exactly what the ayah says. No, don't say he was touched. He's not touched. Yeah, that's right. Allah has not touched. But not to mention that the mess here, what I'm translating as touching, this is a figurative one anyway, because exhaustion is not a physical body with a mass that can contact another physical body. So it's not meant here by, if you were to translate this word as touching, it's not meant the contact of two volumes. So I translated it that way on purpose, just to draw your attention to something. And you know, Allah is not like the creation. He's not a body. He doesn't have shape or form. He exists without a place. He does not touch, and he is not touched. He is not connected or disconnected. He is not separate, and he is not in contact. And he's not moving, and he's not still. And he's not inside, and he's not outside. And he's not big, and he's not small. And he's not close, and he's not far. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٍ. He's not like anything, and nothing is like him. Ta'abun. Ta'abin wa i'ya, meaning exhaustion. Yani, it already showed up in my translation. Wa qawlihi ta'ala, and also because Allah said, Inna rabbakumullahu alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal-arda fi sittati ayyamin thumma istawa 'ala al-'arsh. Indeed, your Lord is Allah, He who created heavens and earth in 6 days. Then He dominated over the arsh. We talked about that last time. Istiwa. وَمَعْنَا ثُمَّ اسْتَوَى أي وَقَدْ اسْتَوَى عَلَى الْعَرْشِ. The meaning of ثُمَّ, which I translated as then, is and. Yani, the meaning of thumma is and, meaning the word thumma here does not indicate a sequence of events. Because Allah is not bound by time, He is not subject to time. Rather, thumma here indicates sequence of information. Sequence of information. الترتيب في الإخبار ليس الترتيب في الحدوث. في الإخبار, يعني you would say كذا وكذا ثم قبل ذلك كذا. You could say such and such. Then before that. So then, you might think the word then means afterwards. You could say then before that. So if you were to say then before that, then the word then means and. If you have a question there, feel free, please. أي أن الله تعالى كان مستويا على العرش أي قاهرا له قبل خلق السماوات والأرض. And the meaning is that Allah was dominating over the arsh before the creation of heavens and earth. So maybe they're going back and forth here between spelling a samawat like this on purpose. Maybe whoever typed this up is signaling to permissibility of writing it either way, since they're consistently switching here. And we're going to assume that the person's doing it on purpose. But I have not learned about this being correct. It reached me that some sheikhs, they did say it's not wrong. But I'm just going to say it's wrong, because that's what I learned. وليس معنى ثم في هذه الآية أن استواء الله على العرش أي قهره للعرش حصل بعدما خلق الله السماوات والأرض. Okay, that's already showed up in my translation. ومن المقرر عند علماء اللغة أن ثم تأتي بمعنى الواو. And amongst what is confirmed by the people of language, the scholars of the language, is that thumma has the meaning of and. Thumma usually means then. And then someone who's weak in the language, who thinks then only means, or thumma only means, sequence of events with considerable time in between them. Will say to you, oh, don't you know? Well, and it doesn't promote any sequence. And then after that comes fa, so means like then or so, has the meaning of sequence and immediateness. Something happening immediately after something else. And then thumma, also like fa, has the meaning of sequence, but with considerable time in between the events. And that's the only thing he knows. And then he's going to apply that to Allah. And then his shirk is going to appear. What's his shirk here? His shirk is believing that Allah is someone subject to time and that he changes. This one who talks like this, he believes that Allah is moving around and he has a place, and at one time he's somewhere and at another time he's somewhere else. He's going to say, in the nighttime he comes down to the lower sky. And then in the daytime he's over the sky. And then you're going to tell him, don't you know you are describing Allah as a body? And he's going to tell you, I didn't say Allah has a body. Don't you put words in my mouth? And you say to him, don't you know you're saying Allah is bound by time? He's going to say, I'm not saying Allah is bound by time. Don't you put words in my mouth? And then maybe you're going to have a long, drawn-out discussion with this one who doesn't want to use his mind. And he doesn't have strong command of the language. وهذا معناها في هذه الآية كما قال الإمام أبو منصور الماتريدي. This is what it means in this ayah, like Abu Mansur al-Maturidi said. وما يتصوره بعض الناس من أن الله بعدما خلق الأرض في يومين صعد إلى السماوات. And what some people imagine, that after Allah created the earth in 2 days, he ascended up to the heavens. وخلقها في يومين, and then he created them in 2 days. ثم خلق مرافق الأرض الجبال والأنهار والمرعى وآدم في يومي الخميس والجمعة. And then he created what goes on the earth of mountains and rivers and pastures, and he created Adam on the 2 days of Thursday and Friday. ثم صعد إلى العرش, and then he ascended up to the arsh. وجلس عليه, and then he sat down on it. هذا تحريف للقرآن. This is perversion of the Quran. And this is Yahudi belief. Except that the Yahudis said, after that Allah laid back. They say, استلقى على قفاه. Then, after he created heavens and earth in 6 days, they say, then he laid back. These ones, they say, then he sat on his arsh. So it's the same belief, just different posture. Both of them believe Allah has a posture. Both of them believe that Allah Ta'ala is carried by something and in contact with something, supported by something, just different posture. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى. وَوَصَفَ لِلَّهِ تَعَالَى بِالتَّنَقُّلِ. And such a person describes Allah with relocating. وَهُوَ مُحَال, which is impossible. أليس ذكر الله في القرآن أن إبراهيم استدل على أن الكوكب والشمس والقمر لا يصلحون للألوهية? Didn't Allah mention in the Quran that Abraham proved that the star and the sun and the moon are not suitable for godhood لكونهم ينتقلون, because they move around? They relocate from place to place. أليس ذكر الله عن إبراهيم أنه قال. Didn't Allah say about Abraham that he said, لا أحب الآفلين, أي أن الذي يتنقل من حال إلى حال لا يصلح أن يكون ربا خالقا. He said, I do not love the things that set, like the sun sets, the moon sets, the stars set. or sometimes the stars, they fade behind the darkness, or they fade behind the light. Actually, they fade behind the light of daylight. This means that things that change from state to state are not valid to be a creating God. And this story of Abraham, I would love to see a Wahhabi explain it. Yani, he can't explain it. Yani, he can't explain it. Because it's a direct contradiction to his creed. He's going to say, if he were to try to explain it, he's going to have to say, therefore Abraham was saying that he does not worship things that move about. He does not worship things that move around from place to place. So if he were to say that, then if you said to him, but that's what you believe, then I don't know what he's going to say. Might say, I didn't say Allah moves from place to place. He's going to say, what, didn't you say that he descends from above the arsh down to the lowest sky? Isn't that moving from place to place? And he's going to say, I didn't say that means he's moving. So that's how he's going to take you for a fool. He's going to expect you to accept this talk from him. وَكَانَ خَلْقُ الْأَرْضِ فِي الْيَوْمَيْنِ الْأَوَّلَيْنِ. And the creation of the earth was in the first 2 days. وَهُمَا يَوْمَ الْأَحَدِ وَالْإِثْنَيْنِ. Those two are Sunday and Monday. That's correct. Sunday is the first day. Christians, they got it mixed up. Somehow they got their calendar twisted so that they believe the Sunday was the last day. Sunday is the first day. The Jews are right here. They didn't make the mistake here. The Jews also say Sunday is the first day. Saturday is the last day. ثم خلق الله السماوات السبع في اليومين التاليين. Then Allah created the 7 heavens in the next 2 days. وهما الثلاثاء والأربعاء. Those are Tuesday and Wednesday. وأما في اليومين الأخيرين. And as for the last 2 days, وهما الخميس والجمعة, which are Thursday and Friday, فقد خلق الله تبارك وتعالى مرافق الأرض. Allah in those days created what goes in the earth. That's loose translation. التي يعيش فيها الإنسان. The earth on which the human lives. من جبال وأنهار ووديان وأشجار وما أشبه ذلك, such as mountains and rivers and valleys and trees and what is like that. وَلَقَدْ كَانَ بَدْءُ خَلْقِ الْمَلَائِكَةِ فِي تِلْكَ الْأَيَّامِ السِّتَّةِ. And the beginning of the creation of the angels was in those 6 days. وَكَذَلِكَ خَلْقُ إِبْلِيسَ اللَّعِينَ. And likewise, the creation of goddamn Satan. الَّذِي هُوَ أَبُو الْجِنِّ. The one who is the father of genies. Progenitor, I think is the word. وَأَمَّا سَيِّدُنَا آدَمْ. And as for Master Adam, الَّذِي هُوَ أَبُو الْبَشَرِ. He who is father of mankind. وَأَوَّلُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ. And the first of prophets. فَقَدْ خَلَقَهُ اللَّهُ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى فِي آخِرِ الْيَوْمِ السَّادِسِ. Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala created him at the end of the 6th day. وَهُوَ يَوْمُ الْجُمُعَةِ. That's Friday. الَّذِي هُوَ أَفْضَلُ أَيَّامِ الْأُسْبُوعِ. Friday, which is the best day of the week. Yes, Friday is the best day of the week. I find it so interesting that even for the kuffar, they love Friday. They like Friday more than Saturday and Sunday. فَكَانَ آدَمُ آخِرَ أَنْوَاعِ الْعَوَالِمِ. And so Adam was the last kind of creature to be created. The last kind of, he's the first kind of the last, he's the first one of the last type of creature to be created. The last type of creature to be created, the first one, his name was Adam. التي خلقها الله تبارك وتعالى. روى مسلم وغيره أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال. Muslim and others narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, خير يوم طلعت عليه الشمس يوم الجمعة. The best day in which the sun rose is Friday. فيه خلق آدم. On that day, Adam was created. وفيه أدخل الجنة. And on that day, he was admitted into the garden. وفيه أخرج منه. And on that day, he was put out of it. ويعني ذلك أن تمام خلق آدم كان في الجنة. And what this means is that Adam's creation was complete in the garden. He was created actually in the garden. لأن بدأه تربة. Because his origin is soil. التي نقلت من الأرض إلى الجنة. This soil was transported from the earth to the garden. فعجنت هذه التربة بماء الجنة. Then this soil was made into clay by the water of the garden. So that's what it says here. But what I learned is mixed with the original water. The original water from which all the other water is created. The other water is created from the original water. Even the water we have now is not, the original water is not like this water that we have. So it says here, that soil was mixed with the water of the garden, but what I learned is that it was mixed with the original water that's under the arsh. ثم مكث طينا 40 يوما. Then it stayed as clay for 40 days. ثم جعله صلصالا كالفخار. Then Allah made him become like pottery. That's a loose translation. ثم حوله عظما ولحما ودما. And then Allah turned that into bone and flesh and blood. ثم نفخ فيه الروح الطيبة الكريمة عند الله, or نفخ. Then, if we say نفخ, he blew into that mold the good, noble soul, then it means he commanded the angel to blow. He blew would mean he commanded the angel to blow. That's valid. Or if you read it, nufikha, then it means the soul was blown. And that still means the angel did the blowing. This soul, this noble, good, pure soul, it is noble and good to Allah. وَهَذَا مَعْنَى قَوْلِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. And this is the meaning of what Allah said. فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. And then, when I have completed his form and I have blown the soul into him, my soul. So if I translate very literally, وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. And I have blown into him my soul. What does that mean? أي الروح التي هي ملك لي. It means the soul of my possession. ومشرفة عندي. And that soul which is noble to me. وَمِمَّا يَدُلُّ عَلَى مَا قَدَّمْنَاهُ قَوْلُهُ تَعَالَى. And amongst what proves what we have presented is what God said, exalted is He. قل أئنكم لتكفرون بالذي خلق الأرض في يومين وتجعلون له أندادا ذلك رب العالمين وجعل فيها رواسي من فوقها وبارك فيها وقدر فيها أقواتها في 4 أيام سواء للسائلين ثم استوى إلى السماء وهي دخان فقال لها وللأرض ائتيا طوعا أو كرها قالتا أتينا طائعين فقضاهن 7 سماوات في يومين وأوحى في كل سماء أمرها وزينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وحفظا ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم. That's Surah Fussilat. Let me pull up the tafsir of Surah Fussilat so I can read the tafsir that we worked on. قل أئنكم لتكفرون بالذي خلق الأرض في يومين. Say, Muhammad, do you disbelieve in the one who created the earth in 2 days? وَتَجْعَلُونَ لَهُ أَنْدَادًا, and you make partners for him? ذَلِكَ رَبُّ الْعَالَمِينَ. That one who created the earth in 2 days is the Lord of the worlds. وَجَعَلَ فِيهَا رَوَاسِيَ مِنْ فَوْقِهَا, and in 4 complete days he put in the earth, yani upon its surface, firm mountains, and put blessings therein, and predestined وَقَدَّرَ فِيهَا أَقْوَاتَهَا, and he predestined its nutritious sustenance. في 4 أيام, that's there, in 4 complete days. سواء, in 4 complete days. لِلسَّائِلِينَ, for those who seek it. ثم استوى إلى السماء وهي دخان, then he created the sky, and it had been before that smoke, yani some kind of smoke. فقال لها وللأرض ائتيا طوعا أو كرها, and he said to it and to the earth, come into being whether you like it or not. قالتا أتينا طائعين, they said, we come forth in complete obedience. فَقَضَاهُنَّ 7 سَمَاوَاتٍ, so it's misspelled right there. And so he created them as 7 skies. فِي يَوْمَيْنِ, in 2 days. وَأَوْحَى فِي كُلِّ سَمَاءٍ أَمْرَهَا, and put in every sky that which he willed for it. وَزَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِمَصَابِيحَ وَحِفْظًا, and we decorated the lowest sky with stars. Stars as lanterns, and made them ammunition for warding off eavesdropping devils. وَحِفْظًا, he made them ammunition for pelting devils who try to spy on the angels. If the angels catch a shaitan in the heavens trying to listen to what they say, then the angel would take the handful of a star and throw it at that devil. ذَلِكَ تَقْدِيرُ الْعَزِيزِ الْعَلِيمِ, that is the preordainment of Al-Aziz Al-Alim. وَمَعنَى قَوْلِهِ ثُمَّ اسْتَوَى إِلَى السَّمَاءِ, so when Allah said, one might translate as, then he istawa, to the sky, is أي أتبع ذلك بخلق السماء, أي خلق الأرض, meaning he made the creation of the heavens come after the creation of the earth. ثم ألحق السماء بالأرض يعني أي خلق الأرض أي أتبع ذلك بخلق السماء, meaning he made the creation of heavens follow that. أي خلق الأرض, meaning he created the earth. ثم ألحق السماء بالأرض, and then he made the creation of the sky follow the earth in creation. وبعضهم يقول استوى قصد, and some say استوى here means he wanted. According to them means then he wanted to create the sky. لكن هذه فيها ما فيها, but this is يعني not acceptable to us. لأنها توهم أن مشيئة الله تتجدد, because gives the impression that God's will renews. وهذا محظور باطل, and this is impossible, and this is invalid. مشيئة الله واحدة أزلية, God's will is one eternal will. ليس له مشيئة بعدد المخلوقات, he doesn't will in accordance with the number of creations. Every time he creates something, he wills again and again. He has one will. By his one will, creations come into existence in a predestined sequence and with predestined measure. وَخَلَقَ اللَّهُ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ وَسَائِرَ النُّجُومِ, and Allah created the sun and the moon and the rest of the stars. These things that are traditionally called planets. Nowadays they use the word planet for something in particular. They say the Earth is a planet, and there are other planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, etc. And then there's stars, and they say the sun is a star, and they say there's satellites, natural satellites, and they say the moon is a satellite. So all of that is contemporary modern talk. Traditionally, all of these things are called planets. قال تعالى, yeah, maybe still the magicians talk like that, planets. ألم تروا كيف خلق الله سبع سماوات طباقا. Allah said, this ayah that we already cited, that Noah said, don't you see how Allah created 7 heavens stacked? وَجَعَلَ الْقَمَرَ فِيهِنَّ نُورًا, and he put the moon in it as a light. وَجَعَلَ الشَّمْسَ سِرَاجًا, and he made the sun a lantern. وَقَالَ تَعَالَى, and Allah said, إِنَّا زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ إِنَّا زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِزِينَةٍ الْكَوَاكِبِ. Indeed, we have beautified, we have decorated the lowest heaven with decor, the stars. That's Surah As-Saffat. وَقَالَ تَعَالَى, and Allah said, إِنَّ رَبَّكُمُ اللَّهُ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ فِي 6 أَيَّامٍ ثُمَّ اسْتَوَى عَلَى الْعَرْشِ. Indeed, your Lord is Allah, He who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and then He dominated over the Arsh, and He dominated over the Arsh before creating them. يُغْشِي اللَّيْلَ النَّهَارِ, the night covers the day. يَطْلُبُهُ حَثِيثًا, it comes right after the daytime. The day and the night are alternating, and they don't outstrip each other. And the day is a body of light, and the night is a body of darkness. And some scholars said the daytime is not the sunlight. They say the sunlight is one thing, and the daytime is something else. وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ وَالنُّجُومَ مُسَخَّرَاتٍ بِأَمْرِهِ, and the sun, and the moon, and the stars, all subjugated by his command, his amr. Amr, amr is subject to interpretation, whether it means his command or his will or something else. So we can review the tafsir there, inshallah. Ala lahul khalq wal amr. Lo, or isn't it that creation or creating is his and commanding is his? Tabarakallahu Rabbul Alameen. Everlasting is Allah, Lord of the worlds. أما دحو الأرض فكان بعد خلق السماوات. Now as for the earth being leveled and expanded, that was after the creation of the heavens. Yani, the earth was created first, then the heavens were created, then the earth was leveled after the heavens were created. وَكَانَ ذَلِكَ فِي الْيَوْمَيْنِ الْأَخِيرَيْنِ. That was in the last 2 days. مِنْ تِلْكَ الْأَيَّامِ السِّتَّةِ, out of the 6 days. قَالَ اللَّهُ جَلَّتْ قُدْرَتُهُ. Allah said, أَأَنْتُمْ أَشَدُّ خَلْقًا أَمِ السَّمَاءُ بَنَاهَا. Are you, kuffar, a more difficult creation with your soft, small human bodies? Or the heavens with their enormity? He created those heavens. And the answer is that in reality, neither is a more difficult creation. But in your own comprehension, in your own estimation, you human, you small human being made of flesh, you are squishable. You can be squishy, you human. Are you a more difficult creation, or this enormous heaven that's so massive and much more firm than you? You're a more difficult creation, or the heaven? Meaning, why you think you cannot be resurrected, you human being? You kafir. Why you think you can't be resurrected? Allah created those heavens that are in structure more firm than you are. رَفَعَ سَمْكَهَا فَسَوَّاهَا. He raised the thickness of those heavens. He made them high without any pillars to hold them up, and he leveled them, made them flat. وَأَغْطَشَ لَيْلَهَا. And he made its night dark. وَأَخْرَجَ ضُحَاهَا. And he created the morning. وَالْأَرْضَ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ دَحَاهَا. And then the earth after that, he expanded it. He stretched it out. وَمَعْنَا دَحَاهَا أي وَسَّعَهَا. So that showed up in my translation already. He expanded it. He stretched it out. وَجَعَلَهَا صَالِحَةً لِسَكَنٍ. And he made it suitable for living upon. بِأَنْ أَجْرَى فِيهَا الْأَنْهَارَ وَالْوَدْيَانِ وَالْيَنَابِيعِ. By putting in it rivers and valleys and springs. قَالَ تَعَالَى. Allah said, أَمَّنْ جَعَلَ الْأَرْضَ قَرَارًا وَجَعَلَ خِلَالَهَا أَنْهَارًا. The one who made the earth livable, and he put throughout it rivers. وَأَجْرَى فِيهَا الطُّرُقَ الَّتِي تَصْلُحُ لِلسُّلُوكِ. And he put pathways in the earth, pathways that enable moving about. وَهَكَذَا. So this part I'm not sure. وَجَعَلَ اللَّهُ الْجِبَالَ رَوَاسِي. And Allah made the mountains as anchors that go down into the earth, keeping the ground stable. قَالَ تَعَالَى. He said, وَأَلْقَى فِي الْأَرْضِ رَوَاسِيَ أَن تَمِيدَ بِكُمْ. And he put into the earth anchors so that it does not shift while you are upon it. وَقَالَ تَعَالَى وَالْجِبَالَ أَرْثَاهَا. And Allah also said, and the mountains, Allah gave them chasms so that they are anchored into the earth. وَخَلَقَ اللَّهُ الْبِحَارَ. And Allah created the oceans. قَالَ تَعَالَى. The Exalted said, وَهُوَ الَّذِي سَخَّرَ الْبَحْرَ لِتَأْكُلُوا مِنْهُ لَحْمًا طَرِيًّا. And he it is who subjugated the sea for you so that you can eat fresh meat from it. So that's proof that the flesh of fish is called lahm. وَتَسْتَخْرِجُوا مِنْهُ حِلْيَةً تَلْبَسُونَهَا. And so that you can extract from it jewelry that you wear, the pearls. وَتَرَى الْفُلْكَ مَوَاخِرَ فِيهِ. And you see the ships cutting through the sea. Yani, those ships are enormous like mountains and they still don't sink. وَلِتَبْتَغُوا مِنْ فَضْلِهِ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. That's Surah Al-Nahl. فَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ الْمُتَفَضِّلِ فَسُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ الْمُتَفَضِّلِ الْمُنْعِمِ. Glory be to Allah, the generous endower. So I'm just going to say this in English so we can stop here. I need to stop, inshallah. Benefit. The wisdom of creating heavens and earth in 6 days, though Allah has the power to create them in fewer than 6 days, is to teach the people to take their time. Yani, the human would take a lesson from heavens and earth being created in 6 days, and then, what you call relax as he's trying to do something, because human being is hasty. He wants everything done immediately. So he shouldn't be like that. Rather, things take time and they take steps. Allah Ta'ala created things in stages. He could have made everything just appear, if he willed. But in his wisdom, he knew that it should not all appear at once, that it should come in stages. And here it talks about the meaning of this ayah. إِنَّمَا أَمْرُهُ إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا أَن يَقُولَ لَهُ كُن فَيَكُونُ. I'm going to skip that. سُبْحَانَكَ اللَّهُمَّ وَبِحَمْدِكَ أَشْهَدُ أَن لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ أَسْتَغْفِرُكَ وَأَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ. بارك الله فيكم.